Jersey 101.5, our own radio station. Not New York, not Philadelphia. Proud to be New Jersey.
New Jersey 101.5. Whatever gets you through the night. It's all right. It's all right.
That's all right. Steve Trevelise. You and me till 11 o'clock tonight. Jersey's opening lines coming up at 10. We give you the opening line of a song we play every weekend on New Jersey 101.5 when the music comes out to play. And if you get it right, we got lottery tickets, $20 worth of New Jersey Lottery instant game tickets. We got a copy of Gravy Wars, the bestseller by Lorraine Ranalli. Foods, fuels, attitudes. It's the whole thing here. And long time ago, I gotta say, I got in the studio with me now, Lorraine Ranalli and John Daskas, alias Monsignor Sebastian,
alias Johnny Boss,
alias Johnny Boss,
alias Tony Fauci,
alias Tony Fauci. He came up here on a donkey to get into the studio.
Pretty much, the donkey liked going around and around the circles and around and around.
And then when he found out the donkey didn't have to be vaccinated to get in here, it was very, very good. It was the only place the donkey could go.
All right, stop calling me an ass. Anyway.
So now, the way I get this straight. Long time ago, in a land known as Shadow Traffic, I was a program director, and these were my two top announcers.
Aw, he's saying that because we're right in front of him.
Because Bob Kelly and Tom Collins aren't here. These are my two top announcers. And there was a meeting. And in this meeting, we had Lorraine Ranalli, and Joe Altamonte, and Michelle Polino, and John Valerio, and Anthony Perillo. And the fight begins as before the meeting starts over who makes the best gravy. And this goes on and on and on.
But who was the only one that brought the gravy in at 5 a.m.?
Then it turned into, all right, bring your best gravy into work. And on Friday of that week, a buffet table. I walk in 5:30 in the morning. A buffet table is set up, like really classy napkins and everything. And all this food, and we're giving it out to the radio stations. We're eating like slobs.
Oh, it's great.
And the next thing you know, you write a book called Gravy Wars.
Well, not quite in that order, but yes, pretty much.
Now, how did Gravy Wars come to be?
Well, it was, I had been doing a lot of ghostwriting, and I always wanted to write my own book. And the only thing that I knew to write about was radio, because that's what I was so passionate about.
Right.
But Steve, if I wrote that book, I would have been blacklisted. I was still on the air full time, and I didn't want to, it was going to be a tell-all. And I'm like, I can't write that book. I can't write that book. So,
I'm going to write that book.
You write that book. So then about 2005, I was preparing my annual La Vigilia. I'm in the kitchen, and people are coming in. And now I very meticulously, I've always have an open house on Christmas Eve.
Right.
And I am very careful about spreading the food out so that people wander about the house. And I had the perfect house for entertaining. It was a split level. And everybody congregates where?
In the kitchen.
In the kitchen.
In the kitchen.
Under my feet.
Now, is your kitchen upstairs or downstairs?
It's upstairs. I didn't have a
You didn't have the downstairs kitchen.
No, I'm not that generation, unfortunately. But it was driving me nuts. And I literally, and they're picking on this and that, and I'm trying to fry the fish last minute, because you do the 7 fish, but I did a bunch of other stuff. I totally went
fish.
rogue. No,
Swedish fish.
They're the only ones I eat.
Goldfish.
Goldfish. But so I literally had chest pains, and I said, oh, my God, I'm going to die here at the stove. And then I thought about it. I said, this is flipping funny.
Isn't that an Italian woman's fantasy to die on the stove? Die at the stove. That's every grandmother's fantasy. I'm going to die on the stove in an everlasting kiss, Bruce Springsteen.
So what happened was I said, this is my book. This is what I'm going to write about. And I had set out to write a recipe book. It took me a year to get recipes because nothing's written down, and none of my family would comply. Come on, give me a recipe. So I started writing the stories around the recipes. And at first pass, I give the first manuscript to a friend of mine who's in the publishing industry. He pretty much looked at it, threw it back to me. He said, you can do better. So I was kind of used to that, being in the radio field. I'm like, all right, I can do better. So I start writing and writing. Next thing you know, I got a book with some recipes. And I didn't get it published until 2009. That was the process. Wow. But, and I'm still talking about it. Well, what happened that year is I started writing vignettes, because I always have these, the BHAGs, the big, audacious, hairy, whatever goals. Right. And I thought if I could turn, the premise of this book, Gravy Wars, South Philly Foods, Feuds, and Attitudes. It's all about our traditions, superstitions, idiosyncrasies. If I could turn this into like a show, a sitcom, that would be hysterical.
Yeah.
So I started writing these vignettes, and they were 20, 25 minutes. And I didn't have the wherewithal to start pitching it to Hollywood or TV producers and all that. So I said, you know what, it's 2009, the book's out, it's fresh. Maybe I can get this running in a local theater. So there was a local theater, Colonial Playhouse in Alden, PA. Shout out and all that. They did a summer short play festival. They ran one of the vignettes, Ajita, and in 2009, it was, the actors brought this to life. Like I couldn't have asked for any better. It was hysterical. Everybody loved it. It was a great promo for the book.
Right.
So I kept writing these stage shows instead of thinking about a TV sitcom. I was thinking, all right, we'll just keep writing these vignettes and I'll get them, put them in the shows, or anyway. So ever since, I was shopping around the theaters, and they ran Maloik's Beware of the Evil Eye. They ran that in 2015.
Right.
2014. 2015, I write Crepe Hangers, which you would love because it takes place in a church, and that's where Monsignor Sebastian every year comes in.
Right.
And then I said, you know what, I'm going to string these together as a like a trilogy of one-act plays, and it'll just be a stage show, and it's slapstick comedy. We're totally busting on the Italian American, and and if you don't like that
the
stereotype,
last person you can bust on.
Exactly.
Everybody else will get offended.
Exactly.
Mario's still on the game. And we can still keep that going.
yeah, Luigi, the whole
Guy's
bit.
still on the pizza box.
So I'm still pitching it real quick, and I give you the rundown of what happened over the course of just a quick timeline. All right, so 2015, I get shot down. 2016, I get shot down. 2017, it gets shot down. I'm like, how am I going to get this into a theater? It was so tough. 2018, Colonial Playhouse, because I knew people on the board. I knew the artistic director. I said, come on, Ron, you got to run my show. I promise you it's going to sell out. It's going to be great. I already have the season booked. They said, make it a special run. So he did. One weekend, February 2018. We get 3 nights. They're in the middle of their regular season run. So we don't even have like a proper stage. We kind of did a makeshift, right? The thing sells out. The actors had a blast. The people, it was oversold, and it was phenomenal. And I said, that's it. This is what I need now. I'm going to take these stats and I'm going to pitch this thing, and I'm still pitching it. So real quick, later that year, we have 2 horrible tragedies. One of the actresses, Natalie Stone, she's got Boardwalk Empire. She's got all kinds of these IMDb credits, right?
Right.
She says, let's do this, in my community hall, and we'll do it here, there. And I had a restaurant that was interested in media, the Fabios. They wanted to do a show. Long story short, we start practicing. We lose a couple of actors, pick up a couple actors. I'm producing, and directing, which is I'm totally out of my lane now, and I should have known better. And then Natalie has the worst tragedy any parent could imagine. She loses a child. So we cancel the show. I said, that's it. This is done. Now I'm thinking this play's got the Maloiks, right? But I said, you know what? I got to keep trying. So I send the script out to a couple of friends who I know that are involved in theater, and this one woman who very heavily for many years involved in theater in South Jersey, and she says, I read it. I promise you I'll read it. Give me a couple of weeks. This was October, November of 2018. She passes away on Thanksgiving night. I said, "Oh my God!"
Play has the Maloiks.
I said,
I see
honestly,
Maloiks.
right? I'm getting a little bit nervous, and I said,
change the title, Maloiks.
I said, I got to stop. What am I going to do here? Like, you can't make this stuff up, right? So, spring of 2019. A friend introduces me to a friend of hers. This guy and his wife had started a theater. It's the Blue Moon Theater in Woodstown, New Jersey. Wonderful little venue, and that's a neat story. If you ever get a chance, you got to have Cheryl Stark on the show because she's got a great story. She's a cancer survivor,
nice.
And all she ever wanted to do was act. And so her husband wants to help her make her dream come true. So they take what was the Woodstown Opera House and they turned it into a theater. And now and it's a community theater. She does some children's theater, and she's just a go-getter, right? And she hears about the show. She wants to give it a shot. She needs something that's going to bring some excitement. But it's not I'm not a well-known playwright. The show was did well in 2018, but a lot of actors didn't know it. And she's in Woodstown, and I know the signal reaches there, but a lot of actors don't want to drive there. So she had trouble casting it for that fall. So we had to cancel. And I said, all right, here we go again. Then what? So 2020, I get introduced to the guy that's the artistic director of Act 2 Playhouse. It's a professional theater in Ambler, PA.
Right.
Tony Braithwaite. He happens to pick up my book at my friend's store, Antonella's, right on the main line, and he's reading through it. He tells his coworker at the prep, hey, I saw this book, and she said, oh my gosh, that's my friend. He said, I think it'd make a good play. And she said, it is a play. You've got to talk to her.
Funny you say that.
So I go in, I have a meeting with him. It's January of 2020. I said, Tony, here's the deal. I'm going to tell you everything that's happened up to this point. I think the play is cursed, and I'm a little scared, but I want to break the curse. And he's laughing. He said, I'm not afraid. So he says, look, here's what I'm going to do. We got this season and next season already scheduled out. I'm going to pull the actors together. I'll read this by April. I'll pull the actors around the table. We'll read the professional actors. He said, I'm even going to pay them. If we like this and we'll bring you in, then we'll run it the following year. I said, fabulous. What happens in 2020? Flipping COVID.
Ugh.
His theater's shut down. He don't have time to read this. And it's been crazy. All these theaters have been crazy trying to just keep their doors open. And,
But now you've got it in the theater.
Well, what happened
weekend.
was, and so what happened was you fast forward a little bit to 2021.
I got a traffic report on Sunday.
Really? I can
You
do that
would
traffic.
know about the traffic report,
It's all
right?
fine, guys. It's not going to snow. Come on.
I always want to do my last traffic report.
So we
screen
going
and
to
hit the
traffic?
break
Can
and
I
do
keep
my
everybody in suspense of what happened next, or do you want me to keep going?
I got 30 seconds. Keep going.
2021, Cheryl Stark from the Blue Moon Theater in Woodstown reaches out to me again. She said, I have a solution. I can't open my doors, but we can do these shows outdoors. She said, can I run your show at a winery? So she picks 2 wineries this past summer. She runs the show. Huge success. She did a great job. They built a beautiful set.
Right.
And now they're taking it to Medford Lakes, to St. Mary of the Lakes, and it's this weekend.
And that is this weekend.
Yeah.
All right. Here's fast traffic.